not doing what the Senate requires, and it will automatically result in a termination. We are interested in dealing with the substantive issues raised by the Auditor General in Trans Nzoia. So, honorable members, let's keep that. The conversation around exchequer releases is part of the substantive issues. We shall discuss them when we get to them. So with that, could we go straight to the report of the Auditor General, starting with the report of the receiver of revenue? We have been given a brief by the Auditor General, so we'll go straight to the issues that still remain unresolved. Governor, is your receiver of revenue in the room?
Yes, Chairman.
Okay, just for identification purposes, who is the receiver of revenue? Okay, so you are the one who prepared the ROR statement.
Yes, Chair.
Fine, so Auditor General, let's go to the report on receiver of revenue. And let's start with your observation under budgetary control and performance. Read it out, and then we will look at the governor's response. I'm looking at the original certificate. So on the original certificate, it is on page 4 under emphasis of matter. Now we need to get guidance from the governor on where he has provided the response on that. Have you, Governor, are we with you on the same page on the issue? In the receiver of revenue report, there under the basis for qualified opinion, there are 7 issues, and then after the 7th issue, there is emphasis of matter that talks about budgetary control and performance. I think, OAG, once you read it out, I'm sure the governor will be able to relate to it.
Thank you, Chair. My colleague will read through it.
Thank you, Chair. Budgetary control and performance. The statement of comparison of budget versus actual amounts reflects county-owned source revenue amount of Kenya shillings 470,522,927 against the budgeted amount of Kenya shillings 643,700,000, resulting in under correction of Kenya shillings 173,177,073, or 27% of the budgeted amount. Further, the revenue corrections reduced by Kenya shillings 22,783,932 from Kenya shillings 493,306,000 Kenya shillings corrected in the year ended 30th June 2023.
Your last paragraph, your second last.
The continued under correction of local revenue affects negatively the execution of planned programs and activities, and therefore results in poor or non-delivery of services to the public. My opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so Governor, whereas we had given recommendations on the report on the executive, for the receiver of revenue, we just agreed with the Auditor General. So there were no specific recommendations, but let's see how you responded to this matter. You can refer us to the page where you're reading from.
Mr. Chairman, our response is on page 92 of the receiver of revenue document.
Okay, members, and that's why we needed to ensure we have adequate copies. You may proceed.
Management response. The management acknowledges and confirms that indeed there was 27% shortfall in revenue collection. It was a result of change of revenue collection system during the year. The management has, however, put in place measures to enhance revenue collection, including recruitment of more revenue collectors, carrying out a rapid results initiative, and mapping all revenue streams and developing a revenue register.
Now, honorable members and clerks, make sure members have access to the ROR statement. Parliamentary Budget Office. What is the on-source revenue potential for Trans Nzoia County? Salat was not here. Now, OAG, you had some information on this. What is the OSR potential for Trans Nzoia?
The potential recorded by CRA, it's 4.7 billion, which includes an amount of 1.2 billion for the hospitals. So in effect, it's 3.5 billion. However, the information I have is that this figure has been appealed and has been settled at 2 billion following consultations with the county executive. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so members, you can have that figure in mind. Maybe we could adopt the 2 billion as being more realistic. But just a look at the statement of receipts and disbursements under the ROR statement. Governor, your revenues dropped by 20 million. And the explanation is that there was a change in system. While the system was being changed, revenue was not being collected.
There was a bit of challenges because the change of from one system to another was not smooth. The previous guy actually left with all the data, so we are forced to start from scratch, even in terms of mapping revenue streams. Of course, when you have that kind of situation, there could also be revenue leakages along the way before you stabilize. That's the major reason why we went low, but we have since peaked.
So if you look at, and I hope your receiver of revenue has given you a copy of the statement of receipts and disbursements for the year ended 30th June 2024. I think let's just have a look at that schedule and ask ourselves whether there is a bigger problem that we need to deal with. I don't know whether you have it. In the ROR statement, I don't think it's reproduced in the governor's report. So clerks, if you don't have a hard copy, please circulate it even in soft copy so that members can follow. So Governor, let's look at the first row on cess. The previous year you collected 44 million. And then the following year you collected 11 million. A difference of 33 million.
Yes.
How do you explain that using a system? If you go to single business permit, you collected 70 million, and then the year under review, 64 million. A difference of 6 million, which then indicates that businesses shut down in Trans Nzoia. How is that explained by change of system? You go down, even parking fees from 63 million to 49 million. Market fees from 17 million to 13 million. Advertising from 17 million to 5 million. Conservancy administration from 5 million to 1 million. Physical planning and development from 4 million to 3 million. You know, it's a long, long list of variation. At the end of it all, the aggregate variation is 20 million. How is this explained? Simply that you changed a system. People were collecting money and pocketing. This is symptomatic of theft. Unless, members, you are seeing the link between this and a change of system.
Chair, maybe through you, maybe what we may need to understand is what system are you changing from? What system was at play, and then what did we change to, so that we appreciate this loss, this leakage? What system was in place before the change? Governor, it will also help us understand if you were to paint a picture of the time that it took for those system changes to be effected.
Governor?
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. I will be able to explain what transpired. The Governor has clearly mentioned that we had a changeover of system. And when you look at it, we are having changes, particularly in the single business permit. Honorable Chair, the change happened actually at the peak of most of the revenues. So we were not able to realize that because there is a requirement that you cannot collect revenue off the system. And we're only trying to comply that because if you collect off the system, money gets into the bank, and we are not able to verify actually how much has been paid through a system because reporting of revenue must be clearly indicated. Then another reason as to why we had that challenge is that the revenue register or data had been held by the previous system operators, which was called ZZ. The new system we are talking about is EREF. So during that period, we were not able to get proper data to have it then mapped through the system to enable us to correct. CRA is very clear in matters of collection of revenue that we cannot do it off the system. And that's actually what we are trying to do so that we can cap this issue of what the chair is raising, that pocketing the money. If you give staff that leeway to interact with money, then you lose the money. So we want all the revenue, it's a requirement that all the revenue system actually has to be cashless. So that is why we experience that. But when you look at the current performance, Honorable Chair, we have mitigated that.
Current performance, we are looking at 2023, 2024.
I was only trying to...
And the reason why we must have this conversation is we must find out who the culprit is.
Okay.
Is it the system vendors?
Yeah.
Is it the collectors of revenue? Because there is a problem.
Yeah, sure.
There is a problem. And that problem, we must deal with it.
Okay.
So go back to single business permit, that line that you had picked. How do we explain that? And please, whereas the guidelines by CRA on automation remains a prudential guideline, we still have counties that are collecting manually. So you cannot say that you are either collecting automatically or not collecting at all. So you need to revise that. So explain to us, for example, that single business permit, which indicates that there was a 10% drop. It means that 10% of your business is shut down in an economy that should be growing at 5%.
Yeah.
How do you explain that? Just take that, that row.
For single business permit, Honorable Chair, a common practice for most of our taxpayers or our clients is that during that period when we issue invoices, and they tend to pay more during that time because we also do a lot of compliance during that period, because once the invoices are issued and confirmed, now what follows is collection. Most of them normally reserve funds to pay at that period.
Remember, if it's a common practice, it was there in the prior year. That's why you are comparing 2 years where the practice has been common. So can you give us a better explanation, please?
A better explanation, Honorable Chair, is that the system was actually changed over in the period of January to March. And that is our peak period. That's what I'm explaining, Honorable Chair.
So the money that was collected between January to March, where did it go?
We have, in the receipt of revenue report, that time we actually, because we were losing a lot and we encouraged them to do offline, then later on we were able to now map them in the system.
Where did the money go?
In the bank.
Just show us here in the ROR statement where that money is.
I'm not accounting for the shortage of 10 million. I'm not saying we collected 10 million and we banked it somewhere or somebody took the money. We were not able to realize revenue collection during that period because there was a system changeover. We were affected. Not that we collected and we banked that money elsewhere, Honorable Chair.
Senator Ombua, then Senator Chirati.
Chief Officer, you may land yourself in some trouble. You've just said, your own words, that the time of changeover is when a lot of people are paying their rates. And because of the changeover, the implication is that people did not pay. Is that what you're saying?
True.
You're saying people did not pay.
True.
So why did you effect the changeover at a time that you're supposed to be collecting revenue?
Through Honorable Chair.
It was your decision to
Through Honorable Chair, we only picked single business permit, and I'm saying single business permit, its peak is at January and March, but other revenues were still going on.
There are 11 rows where there was a drop in revenue,
Yes.
which cumulatively comes to 20 million.
Yes.
So I don't know whether you have 11 different stories for the 11 different rows. Senator
Chair,
Chiraki.
let me pick it from where you have left. Governor, how long has been Ibrahim Chisaka been acting as the governor? How long has been Ibrahim Chisaka has been acting director of receiver of revenue? Number one. Number two, Chair, let me pick it from where where the chief officer left, because it looks like the previous system was more effective than they want to change of. Because if you look even at parking fees,